Hello students, in today's class I am going to explain you about Lami's theorem. Lami's theorem explains state of equilibrium of the system under three coplanar forces. It explains equilibrium of the system in the presence of three coplanar forces. So before going to discuss about Lami's theorem, first we need to understand what is meant by equilibrium. So equilibrium is what if the system experiences zero net force. If it experiences no net force, that system is said to be in translational equilibrium or simply in equilibrium. We have one more type of equilibrium which is called rotational equilibrium, in which the net force acting on the system, net torque acting on the system is zero. Net torque zero is what? Rotational equilibrium. Net force zero means translational equilibrium. But here we are going to discuss only translational equilibrium. So under equilibrium, body experience zero net force. You can see here. First, equilibrium means what? If it is the body or a system, it experiences no net force. If the net force acting on the system is zero, magnitude is zero, or that way total force is equal to what? Null vector. Net force is zero. Then the body is said to be in equilibrium. Now, condition for equilibrium. You should understand single force cannot keep the system in equilibrium. In equilibrium, the sum of all the forces acting on the system or body should be zero. But single force cannot be equal to zero by itself. So it cannot balance itself. So single force cannot keep the system in equilibrium. Remember that. Single force cannot keep the system in equilibrium. But how many forces do we require at least? So for example, if I apply two forces on this system like this, if the net force is zero, net force means what? Vector addition of these two forces. These two are the vectors. Net force means vector addition. If it is zero, the net force acting on the body is zero by these two forces. Then it means what? F1 is equal to minus F2. What does this equation mean? It means what? Magnitude of the first force is equal to magnitude of second one, and they must be opposite in direction. Our angle between F1 and F2 is 180. Angle between F1 and F2 must be 180 degrees in equilibrium by two forces. So you should understand two equal forces can keep the system in equilibrium when they act in opposite direction to each other. So two equal forces applied in opposite direction, then they can cancel each other, then system is kept in equilibrium. So that is why the minimum number of equal forces required to keep the system in equilibrium is 2. At least two forces are required, and they must be equal, and there also must be collinear. Two equal and you can say collinear. They must act on the same line, just opposite direction like this. So if it is F1, so this F2 must be on the same line of that F1 but in opposite direction. Then they cancel each other and net force is zero. So that system is said to be in equilibrium. So if the forces are unequal, the minimum unequal forces required to keep the particle in equilibrium is 3 and they must be coplanar. If 3 forces are acting simultaneously on a particle to keep the particle or system in equilibrium like this. This is F1, F2, F3. Applied in 3 different directions, they must be in the same plane. So the important point is what here? The minimum number of coplanar equal or unequal forces required to keep a particle in equilibrium, to keep the system or particle in equilibrium is 3. We require at least 3 forces if they are unequal and coplanar. You can say unequal. For equal, only 2. If the forces are equal, the minimum number is 2. If the forces are unequal, those number of forces required is 3. Clear? Now here you can see here 3 forces are acting simultaneously on this system in 3 different directions. The net force is 0. Means what? F1 plus F2 plus F3 equal to 0. The total sum of 3 forces is 0. It means what? You can understand the F1 is equal to minus of F2 plus F3. It means what? The magnitude of the first force is equal to magnitude of resultant of second and third force. The magnitude of resultant of these two is equal to magnitude of first and in opposite direction. This equation represent what? It shows the magnitude of this force is equal to magnitude of the resultant of these two in opposite direction. Definitely that resultant of these two lies between these two and in opposite direction to this. This is what? F2 plus F3. This combination will balance F1. Or else you can write here not only this, or you can write F2 is equal to minus of F1 plus F3. It means what? That second force magnitude is must be equal to the magnitude of resultant of first force and third force. This resultant exactly opposite direction to the second force, and it is cancelled by this resultant. This resultant of these two can balance F2. Resultant of these two can balance F1. Resultant of these two can balance this F3. This is what? F1 plus F2. In the same manner, you can write from this equation, or F3 is equal to minus of F1 plus F2. So from these equations, you can understand the magnitude of or any one of these 3 forces is cancelled by resultant of other 2 forces, or magnitude of any one of the forces is equal to magnitude of resultant of other 2 forces. Clear? So if the 3 forces keep the system in equilibrium, one force magnitude is equal to the magnitude of resultant of other 2 forces, and both are in opposite direction. So the condition to keep the system in equilibrium by set of 3 forces, you can see most of the cases we are asked the set of the forces which keep the system in equilibrium by giving number of sets. So to know the correct set, we should check this condition. The magnitude of F1, this is F1 magnitude is equal to what? Magnitude of resultant of these two. So that is why here F1, this magnitude of first force, magnitude of first force must be less than or equal to the sum of magnitudes of second and third force, or it should be greater than or equal to F2 minus F3, or you can write any one of the forces magnitude must be less than or equal to the sum of magnitude of other two forces and greater than or equal to difference of magnitudes of other two forces. This is F3, or you can write F3 is equal to F3 or less than or equal to F1 plus F2 or greater than or equal to F1 minus F2. This is the condition. Any of these condition can be obeyed by the system if it is in equilibrium. So I can give, if for example if F1 is equal to 10 and F2 equal to 50, to keep the system in equilibrium by three forces, the third force must be less than or equal to 60 or greater than or equal to 40. If third force value or magnitude is in between 40 and 60, then the set of those two forces can keep the system in equilibrium. If F3 value is less than 40 or more than 60, that system cannot be kept in equilibrium. Clear? So these resultant of these two can be balanced by a third force if its value is between 40 and 60. If F3 is 30, we cannot keep the system in equilibrium with these three forces. It cannot obey that condition, right? Remember the condition to keep the system in equilibrium by set of three forces. So you should remember. So I'll give one example set of three forces here. An example for a system which is in equilibrium under three coplanar forces. If out of three forces, if two forces are known, if it is 50, first force magnitude is 50 units and second force magnitude is 20 units. They are applied like this. Now what should be the third force? The range of third force which is to be applied on this body in order to keep the system in equilibrium. To know the magnitude of third force, the condition is what? The magnitude of third force must be less than or equal to sum of magnitudes of these two forces are greater than or equal to the difference of magnitude of these two forces. This is the condition. By using this condition, you can estimate the range of third force. The third force must be, the F3 must be, so what is this? This is 20, this is 50. So 70, it should be less than or equal to 70, or this difference of these two. That is what? 30. So third force magnitude must be in between 30 to 70 to keep this system in equilibrium by three coplanar forces. For example, instead of 20, if it is 5, then what is the third force? Instead of 50, if the magnitude of first force is 5, then the third force magnitude must be less than or equal to what? This 25. Sum is F1 plus F2, 25, and difference is, so 5 minus 20, you should not take minus 50. You cannot say the magnitude of third force is minus 50 to 25. So we are saying only magnitudes. Take the mode of this magnitude. So the range of third force must be between 15 and 20 to keep the system in equilibrium with three coplanar forces. Third force must be between 15 and 25. Clear? If third force is like this, if third force is 10, can we keep the system in equilibrium with 25 and 10? No. Because if you add these two and take the difference, so this range of these two, the resultant of these two, range of resultant of these two is what? The magnitude of resultant of these two lies between 15 and 25. So if you take this, what is the range of the magnitude of resultant of these two? It lies between 5 and 15. But this value is out of the range of the magnitude of these two. So the set of these forces 25, 10 cannot keep the system in equilibrium. The third force magnitude must be in the range of magnitude of resultant of other two forces. Remember that. That is the condition. So I will give one few sets of forces. Let me give few sets. So set A, this is a 10 to 8, or instead of 6. Can this system keep, can this set of three forces keep the system in equilibrium? So these are the three forces. Can they keep the system in equilibrium? To check that, what is the sum of these two? Let us say this is F1, F2, F3. So this F3 must be less than or equal to F1 plus F2 or greater than or equal to F1 minus F2. Check this condition. So if you add these two, you will get 12, and this is F3. The difference of these two is 8. So the third force must be between 8 and 12, but the 6 is not in the range of 8 and 12. So this system cannot keep the this set of forces cannot keep the system in equilibrium. This set cannot keep the system in equilibrium. Clear? So doesn't obey this. This system is not kept in equilibrium by these three forces. Another set. I will give another set. So 1, 2, 4. You can check. So here, if I take this combination, now if it is F3, F3 should be less than or equal to sum of these two. Add these two. So what is the value of addition of these two? 3. The difference is 1. So third force must be between 1 and 3. Not more than 3, not less than 1. So but this is F3 is given 4. This set also cannot keep the system in equilibrium. Now this you can see 5, 7, 9. Whether they keep the system in equilibrium or not. These are three forces. You can see here if it is F3. F3 is less than or equal to sum of these two, that is 12, and difference is 2. The third force must be between 2 and 12. The 9 lies between these two. So this set can keep the system in equilibrium. I think it is clear or not? One more set will give D 10, 5 and 2. If it is F3, what is the difference of sum of these two and the difference of these two? F3 must be less than or equal to 15 or greater than or equal to difference of these two, 5. This set cannot keep the system in equilibrium. Another set 10, 10, 10. 3 equal forces. So this is F3. Now you can check F3 should be less than or equal to sum of these two, 20, difference is 0. It must be from 0 to 90. So any force between 0 and 20 may keep the system in equilibrium. The force, third force is greater than 20 or less than 0, cannot keep. Right? So this system cannot keep the system, this set of forces can keep the system in equilibrium. I think it is clear. One more set, F equal to 5, 2 and 7. So you can see if it is F3, this F3 is less than or equal to 7, greater than or equal to 3. There is a 7, but third force exactly equal to 7. So this system keeps, that set can keep this system in equilibrium. Clear? I think this concept of equal forces required to keep the system in equilibrium is 2, and they must be collinear. They must act along the same line in opposite direction. Then only they cancel each other and system will be in equilibrium. And also minimum number of coplanar, those forces may be unequal. The minimum number of unequal coplanar forces required to keep the system in equilibrium is 3. If the forces are unequal, they must be coplanar. To keep a system in equilibrium is 3. And if the forces are unequal and non-coplanar, if the forces are non-coplanar, the minimum number of forces required to keep the system in equilibrium is 4. Remember these points. Again, I repeat, single force cannot keep the system in equilibrium. Minimum number of equal collinear forces required to keep the system in equilibrium is 2, and minimum number of unequal coplanar forces required is 3, and minimum number of unequal or equal non-coplanar forces required to keep a system in equilibrium is 4. Remember these points. Now let us start Lami's theorem. This theorem explains equilibrium of a system under 3 coplanar forces. It explains about equilibrium of the system under 3 coplanar forces. So if it is a system, you can see if it is a small particle, and if the 3 forces are subjected on this particle in 3 different directions, F1, F2, F3. Those are coplanar, acting simultaneously in 3 different directions. Let us say angle between these 2 forces is alpha, and these 2 forces is beta, and these 2 forces is gamma. The angle opposite to F1 is alpha, opposite to F2, or angle between these 2 is alpha, F1, F3 beta, F1, F2 is gamma. These are the 3 angles, right? So according to Lami's, the magnitude of any one of the forces, magnitude of any one of these 3 forces directly proportional to sine of angle between other 2 forces. F magnitude of any force in these 3 forces, magnitude of any one of these 3 forces is directly proportional to sine of angle between other 2 forces when they keep the system in equilibrium. That is the statement. I repeat the statement, the Lami's theorem statement. If 3 coplanar forces acting on a system or particle in equilibrium, then magnitude of any one of the forces is directly proportional to sine of angle between other 2 forces. That is the mathematical form for the statement. So from that you can understand this F1 directly proportional to sine alpha, F2 directly proportional to sine beta, this F2 directly proportional to sine of angle between these 2, F3 directly proportional to this F3 directly proportional to sine of angle between these 2 forces, that is sine gamma. Now here proportionality constant is some k, F1 is equal to k sine alpha, here also F2 equal to k sine beta, here F3 equal to k sine gamma. You can write this equation is what? The next step is F1 by sine alpha equal to proportionality constant, and F2 by sine beta also is equal to same k, F3 by sine gamma is also equal to k. So from these 3 relations you can write F1 by sine alpha is equal to F2 by sine beta equal to F3 by sine gamma, and this ratio is constant. This ratio is constant when three coplanar forces keep the system in equilibrium. Clear? The magnitude of any one of the forces is directly proportional to sine of angle between other two forces when system is in equilibrium. So by using this we will solve a few problems. Let us see those problems. Example 1. This is the horizontal support and this is the vertical wall. If an object is suspended by using these two strings, this is the string 1, string 2, and these two ends are connected here and a body is attached like this. This is the body, its weight is W. Weight of the body is W. This string is along horizontal, here tension is T1, here the tension, tightness, this pulling force, the force exerted by this second string on this joint is T2. This is T2. If this angle is 60 degrees, then my question is T1 and T2, or sometimes we are asked T1 by T2 also. T1, T2. You can apply this Lamy's theorem, or else you can also solve this based on resolution of vectors. In two methods we can find T1, T2 or ratio. You can see here by extending this line, this is 60, here 90, here 30 degrees. This is 90. So this total angle is 180. This is up to here 30. This remaining is 150. This is 90. You can see here. Let us treat this joint as a point object. Now in this direction we have T2. In this direction T1. This direction weight of the object W. This total angle is what? 90 plus 30, that is 120 degrees, and this angle is 150 degrees. This angle is 90 degrees. Three forces, those are coplanar, and this joint is in equilibrium. This point is in equilibrium. So you can apply Lamy's theorem. What is that? So you can write W by the sine of this opposite angle, or sine of angle between these two, that is sine 120 degrees. Sine 120 degrees. This is equal to, you can see carefully, T1 by its opposite angle, sine of 150 degrees. Now for this T2 by sine 90 degrees. Clear? Now this equation implies W by sine 120 degrees. Sine 90 plus 30, it gives cos 30. Cos 30 is what? Root 3 by 2. This is a T1. This is sine of 90 plus 60. Sine of 90 plus 60 is cos 60. Cos 60 is 1 by 2. T2 by sine 90 is 1. Okay. Now you can write this as 2W by root 3 is equal to 2T1 is equal to T2. So if I equate these two first, so T1 is equal to W by root 3. These two cancelled if I equate these two, or if I equate these two, and T2 is equal to 2W by root 3. These are the tensions in these two strings. Or you can also write T1 by T2 is what? This divided by this gives what? 1 by 2. 1 by 2. Clear? One more, you can see the similar model. two strings are attached here and a body is suspended like this. This body weight again W. Here this is the first string. The pulling force of this first string is T1. So this string can pull this joint with force T2. The angle is, this is 150 degrees. Then T1, T2 and again ratio. You can do the same method. Similar to the last case. So if it is 60, by extending this is 60, here also 60 degrees. This is 60 degrees. Now this is 150, here is 60. This total angle is, this is up to here 210. This is 150 degrees. Is it clear? Now you can see clear. Now look at this diagram. This W by the sine of this opposite angle, that is what, sine 150 degrees, and T1, this is T1 by this angle, sine 150, and T2 by sine 60. Then you will get T1, T2. Okay, you can see here. There is a horizontal support and there are two pegs with gap 5 centimeters and two strings, the different length. This is 4 centimeter long and 3 centimeter long, are joined here and a small body is attached like this. Then the ratio of tensions in longer string to shorter string. So longer is this. Let us say the tension force produced in this string is T1. The tension is always pulling force, never pushes, it always away from the end of the string. So this is the end of this string, it is in this direction here. The tension in this second string is T2. So I want this ratio, T1 by T2. The weight of the body is W. Body weight is W. Now you can see from these sides. So these three sides can form right angle triangle here. Right angle. If I say this angle is theta 1, this is theta 2. Here you can write this is the right angle. Now you can write cos theta 1 is equal to cos theta 1 from this right angle triangle. This is the adjacent side and this is a hypotenuse, that is 4 by 5. So theta 1 is equal to what? 37 degrees. This angle is 37. Now this is 90, then this angle obviously 53, or you can also write cos theta 2 is equal to 3 by 5, that is 53 degrees. Remember this right angle triangle, so frequently we use this. If it is 37, 90 and here 53, these sides are 3, 4, 5. Remember this triangle with these three sides and these angles. You can write cos of 4 by 5 is 37. Cos 53 is 3 by 5. You can write for any trigonometric function 37 or 53 degrees by using that triangle. Okay. Now you can see here to apply Lamy's theorem. So let us draw a horizontal line through this joint. Now here 53, here also same 53 degrees. Reason? If you extend, this is 53, here 53, the same angle here. This is 37, this is 37, same angle here, 37 degrees. This is 90, this is 90. Now you can see here, I'll draw the same point here. In this direction you have T2, this direction T1 is there. This is a T1. This angle is 90 degrees, right? This is the weight of the body, W. This angle is what? This total angle is 90 plus 53. This total angle is 90 plus 37. 90 plus 37. Now apply Lami's theorem. Apply Lami's theorem. W by sine of this angle, sine 90, and T1 by this angle, sine of 90 plus 53. T2 by sine of this angle, sine of 90 plus 37. It gives W by 1, T1, this is cos 53, equal to T2 by cos 37. So it gives W by 1 is equal to T1 by cos 53. Already we have written 3 by 5. So this is a T1, 3 by 5, right? 5 here, and this is 4 by 5. So write 5 in numerator, 5 T2 by 4. If you equate these two first, T1 is equal to what? 3W by 5, and T2 is equal to 4W by 5. These are the tensions. Then ratio of the tension in longer string to shorter is 3 by 4. From that you can understand from this ratio, shorter string get stretched more than longer.